Downtime. Now, downtime is one of the most underrated aspects of Dungeons & Dragons. Now, I'll briefly gloss over the fact that both Dungeons Master Guide and Xanathar's Guide to Everything both do discuss downtime, but I think simply analyzing those does not do enough justice for what downtime really is and can be. One of my friends ran a Dragon Heist game that there was this downtime period. For those who played, you probably know it's a period after you get the house. Basically, there's a lot of things we can do during this time, spruce up the house, things like that. But he added these side quests. I think some might have been from DM's Guild, some were made on his own, where different like factions have like quests for you, and you can take them to gain a sort of reputation and influence within those factions. Again, kind of tying into my world building stuff, you can do these with your factions to have them have quests or have a more involvement and sprinkle them in to your world, because having like downtime, it's almost video gamizing downtime. It's like, oh, here's your side quest options, right? But I don't think there's a problem with that, because like people's brains will often go to video games as an how to handle situations, even though you necessarily shouldn't always be doing that in Dungeons & Dragons. Regardless, it gives the players a lot of options and things you can actually run and do. Like, oh, there's this competition. And then you can, run these fun mini games. There's, I think there were some added to, was it Theros? And I know they're adding some in the Strixhaven one too. So there'll definitely be some downtime. If you're not, you can make your own, because I've always had fun doing that sort of thing. Regardless, because I found that based off the player, they might not always have an agenda they want to do for downtime. Sure, you have like the artificers of the world who are just going to be able to craft things on their free time. But then you have like the fighters, it's like maybe go to a pub, gain some information. But other than that, you have to give them direction most of the time. There's a lot of fun ones. Like there was this one quest where you had to deliver this package, no questions asked, which sort of, a potential to lead into things in the future that we just get a little taste of. Another was this chase scene where we had to catch this murderer. Another, we had to simply attend this noble gala to obtain information. Things like that are better than just simply rolling the dice and making potions. Downtime gives you the chance to do something that you can't normally do in video games, ironically. Pursue ambition. If you want to gain favor with a faction, pursue a backstory thread, or even a side quest thread the rest of the party isn't interested in. Oddly enough, one type of game where you do get a decent amount of downtime is Gritty Realism System, because it requires the 7-day long rest. Like, you can't do necessarily anything crazy during this resting period, like pursue plot threads, but you can read up on the enemy, spread rumors of fictitious up-and-coming faction to scare the existing enemy faction. That's sort of Yojimbo type, playing the sides off each other. One of the players even went to a local potion maker every day during the 7-day downtime to apprentice under them. Also, cities are great for this. In the Waterdeep campaign, my character, on their own accord, began spreading rumors of the Jade Tiger, a legendary assassin who arrived in town. One pull stunt, like as I mentioned, the Japanese samurai movie Yojimbo, where he comes to town and then basically plays the silk and sake industries that are vying for power off each other. They both want to hire him, turn the tides, and eventually he's able to use this to resolve the conflict. Basically the same I was doing with Xanathar and Zentarium. Sorry, that was just a fun tangent. But again, things don't always have to go the way you want to. If your players roll bad on potions, there can be explosion. If things don't go as planned with the Jade Tiger, someone else can steal up that title, like your rival, which happened to me. Now, there's multiple ways of doing downtime. What I mean by this is, for example, you can do it at the table or you can do it behind the scenes. I think behind the scenes is a great option, because like at the table you might have to do for something like Critical Role, because it's interesting enough for the whole party to watch, and sometimes multiple people get involved in it, but most times players don't have as interesting an ambition, and it can be curious to have these things that are mysteries. Like a player might contact an ally and call in their help later, and the players had no idea this happened. That's a fun little addition that you wouldn't get normally. Like with Matthew Colville, they had a downtime session between campaigns where one of the characters released their god, and he became the new villain of the next campaign. If you're doing, interesting things like forwarding an inheritance letter for Caleb's ex, or scrying on Kiri like in Critical Role, then it might be something for the whole table. But a lot of tables, it's just better not to waste anyone else's time and just do it independently. One of the fun things, I followed the quest system as well, where the parties had different missions. I gave them one that was breaking a criminal out of jail, because my party was very morally ambiguous. Later, this came back. While they may have gotten money from it, it came back and the criminal was involved in stealing something they were supposed to get. Which is always a fun thing where downtime does have an actual influence in the game. Now, for those who haven't tried running downtime, remember, your players are not machines. A dungeon crawl might be great and all, that rhymed, but they might just want to break and have a shopping episode, which is definitely something that your players will want to do during downtime, especially the metagamers want to get those items. Also, I try to make whatever they're doing rewarding. Like, if they study at the library, they might not just get knowledge, but a new technique, like maybe fluid mana instead of normal spell slots, like spell points instead. Being able to, turn those lesser used lower spell slots into higher ones, like cast a 5th level spell 9 times, but have no spells for anything else. Again, this may not always be the best depending on how your players are, but if I find that I lean into, I'm a bit kind in terms of items towards my players, because I think it's when you feel empowered, it feels good. Also, having some sort of hub, like a ship in my Spellgammer campaign, or the house in Waterdeep, is a great opportunity for downtime. You can upgrade rooms, like at a workshop or a garden, or even if they have enough time and energy, like in with the Strongholds and Followers rules from Matthew Colville, they can even make their own layers. He has some really cool layers, like refreshing spell slots and like enhanced inspiration that you get while in your layer, which is rewarding because you get to do these cool things that because of that effort you put in. Again, you can invest. You can even start a business. The world is your oyster. Again, pursuing ambition, something that you can really only do in D&D. In terms of other games. Now, you can sow rumors, go pit fighting. There is so many different things that the Dungeon Master can do. The Xanathar's Guide and DMG, there's nothing wrong with those options. Like, I showed you firsthand the usefulness of sowing rumors, and even there's fun. I find the pit fighting mechanics in Xanathar is actually quite fun. But, crafting magic items can be a lengthy and annoying process. Crafting has always been a tricky thing to get. I've seen multiple different ways of it attempted. None is perfect, but, I would definitely look online for something like that if you wanted to try. You might want to run full-on downtime sessions, like as one-on-one D&D sessions. I did this once, and it really allows your players to fulfill multiple things your player wants to do in a whole side quest. They don't have to compromise because they feel like they could be holding up the table. You could have like a whole arena fight with them, or like if a small group of players want to get involved, you can run that separate during downtime, which allows you to still run it at the table because players are involved in it. Same for those magic item side quests where you might need to get like Umberhulk blood or something. You could even run like a heist solo adventure or mystery depending on the mission. Like running smaller things allow you to have interactive play and really go in depth with like gambling mechanics, having your players make checks to call bluffs. There's a bunch of things you can do to have downtime what it deserves, which is to fulfill your players' ambitions. And this is a thing that should be given justice. I hope my many examples, a few stories, and mechanics help sort of at least start the ideas rolling at the potential of downtime, because I think there is some incredible things that you can do during downtime. I mean, it's fun to me. So, all in all, If you haven't tried Downtime, I would definitely consider it. If you have and it just hasn't clicked, I would definitely give it another try. And players, if you like the idea of these Downtime bonuses and sessions, bring it up to your DM. You might be surprised. So, but until then, thank you for watching. Of course, this is Sean for Doing That Dungeon, signing off.